We begin today's show in the NBA. Despite the Super Bowl being Sunday, we starting off the show this afternoon in the NBA. And let's talk about these L.A Clippers who have been balling. The L.A Clippers right now, they sit as the number one seed in the Western Conference. They have a record of 34-16. And so the LA Clippers have been balling, playing at an extremely high level. And so when it comes to the Clippers, I was one of those people who had questions about this LA Clippers basketball team when they decided to trade for James Harden. And so when they traded for James Harden, the thing for me, from a basketball standpoint, I was wondering, how could James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard, how could they mesh together, considering all four of these players are all great individual players and have all had success on their own basketball teams in prior years? So my biggest question was, how can they coexist on the court together? Because we know that in the NBA, when you have stars, you have to be able to have stars who can play together well. That's why the Miami Heat were so successful with LeBron James and D Wade and Chris Bosh, because they were able to sacrifice, and you saw Chris Bosh, basically take a lesser role, and instead of being that number one option, Chris Bosh basically took a lesser role and became the Miami Heat's third option. And you saw D Wade also take a step back when LeBron was in Miami, because D Wade was able to have self-awareness, and he realized in order for us to reach our ultimate goals, we need LeBron James to be the best player on this Miami Heat basketball team. He's going to have to lead us. And so that's why you heard stories about how D Wade went up to LeBron after they lost in the first year, when they lost to the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Finals. D Wade had a conversation with LeBron, and he said, hey, I'm going to take a back seat. I'm going to allow you to lead this basketball team. And the Miami Heat went on to win back-to-back NBA championships. But we've seen the Heat be able to coexist with stars. We've seen the Golden State Warriors when they were winning championships, when Kevin Durant was in Golden State. We saw Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry be able to coexist as well. And so for me, though, this fit with James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard, it wasn't a perfect fit. It wasn't a perfect fit. But I thought one of the keys and why the Clippers are being so successful right now and been playing so well, I think something that's very underrated took place. And I commend him, considering the type of career he's had. Russell Westbrook, he went to Tyloo, and he chose to come off the bench. And I thought that was a key for the Clippers to be able to have the type of success that they've had over the last month and a half. Russell Westbrook took a step back. He sacrificed. And to me, that was one of the main reasons why the LA Clippers are playing at such a high level. And I thought it was going to take something like that for the Clippers to be able to be at their best, because Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard have all had individual success. But at this point in their careers, outside of Kawhi Leonard, neither Paul George, James Harden, or Russell Westbrook have won an NBA championship. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And another thing, too, I love about the Clippers right now, let's not forget James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. They all from L.A. They all from L.A. I love that. I love that. So imagine if the Clippers are able to cap off this season and win the first championship in Clippers history in their franchise. And considering it's all four of their main stars, they all four are from L.A. Think about that. That's an amazing story within itself. But from a basketball standpoint, I felt like Russell Westbrook making that sacrifice that really helped the Clippers and helped them over the last month and a half become one of the best teams in the NBA. That's number one. Number two, I thought Kawhi Leonard, the way he's been playing at a very, very elite level. And one of the knocks on Kawhi Leonard has been Kawhi Leonard's inability to stay healthy. But Kawhi Leonard has played in a lot of games this year for the Clippers. He has been healthy for majority of the season. And last week, I believe, he played in a back-to-back for the Clippers. The Clippers had played in Miami, and then the following night, they had to go and play in Atlanta. Kawhi played in both games. And during this 30-game span, Kawhi Leonard, he's averaging 25 points per game, and he's shooting 50-50-90. So he's shooting over 90% from the free throw line. He's shooting over 50% from the floor overall, and the man is shooting at a high clip from three-point range. But he isn't alone. It's not just Kawhi. Right now, let's take a look at the L.A. Clippers and their shooting percentage from three. Kawhi Leonard, he's shooting 46% from three. That's third in the NBA. Norman Powell, he's shooting 45% from three. That's seventh in the NBA. This Amir Coffey kid, who I saw play against the Hawks the other night, he was balling. Coffey, he's shooting 44% from three. Daniel Tyus right now is shooting 42% from three. James Harden, 42%. Paul George, 41%. So the LA Clippers not only are playing at an elite level defensively as well, they're playing great from a shooting standpoint and hitting their three-point shots. They're hitting their three-point shots. And to me, if they're hitting their three-point shots, they're unbeatable. They are unbeatable if they're hitting their perimeter shots. And so I'm sitting there looking at this Clippers team, the way Paul George is playing, the way Kawhi Leonard is playing, and James Harden has fit in with the LA Clippers. Russell Westbrook has accepted his role coming off the bench. And this is another thing. If Kawhi Leonard continues to play at this level, Kawhi Leonard very well may win his first NBA MVP. He may win his first NBA MVP in his career the way he's currently playing because he's balling right now. He really, really is. And he's the main reason why this Clippers team is playing at such an elite level. Yes, they have stars in James Harden and Paul George and Russell Westbrook. But the best player on their team is Kawhi Leonard. And so far this season, Kawhi Leonard is averaging 24 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and he's playing 34 minutes per game. So we've wanted to see this from Kawhi. We've wanted to see Kawhi have great regular season performances. And this is the thing. If he continues playing at this rate, he will be the NBA MVP. Make no mistake about it. I want to put that on record right now that when he's playing at his best, Kawhi Leonard is a top 5 NBA player, period. Period. He's in that conversation with LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Giannis. Like when I look at NBA players, like I look at certain players as already established stars and already pretty much established as far as all-time rankings, right? Like all-time greats. And to me, I think Steph Curry is already established. LeBron James is already an established all-time great. Kevin Durant is already an all-time established great. Giannis is already an all-time established great. Kawhi Leonard is also in that conversation. He just never had the regular season success that Giannis, Kevin Durant, LeBron, and Steph has had in his career. That's the only difference. Kawhi Leonard is big time. And he's one of the best two-way players in NBA history. He defends. He defends. And not only that, though, this is another thing that makes me feel like the Clippers could represent the West in the NBA Finals this year. The best coach in the NBA is Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue is the best coach in the NBA. You look at Tyronn Lue, since he's been a head coach in the NBA, he is 261 and 186. So he's won 58% of his games. But he won an NBA championship with the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016. And everyone gives credit to LeBron James and Kyrie Irving for the Cleveland Cavaliers overcoming a 3-1 deficit in the finals. But we have to remember, Ty Lue was the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers and a part of the reason why they overcame a 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals. He's the best coach in the NBA. I know Greg Popovich has won multiple NBA championships. I know Eric Spoelstra has also won multiple NBA championships. But I'm taking Ty Lue over Eric Spoelstra and Greg Popovich currently. Eric Spoelstra is close, though. He is close. He is very close in this conversation when it comes to best coach in the NBA. But I'm probably going to take Ty Lue over Eric Spoelstra slightly. But, man, the Clippers are well coached, and they have a top 5 player when he's playing at his best in Kawhi Leonard. And when I look at the rest of the teams right now in the Western Conference, outside of the Denver Nuggets, there's no other team I feel like can beat the Clippers in a 7-game series in the West. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder have tremendous promise, but they are young. They breath smell like Similac. They're young. They're not ready for the bright lights in the NBA playoffs. Okay? The Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't trust Minnesota. Karl-Anthony Towns, he's inconsistent. I love Anthony Edwards, but Karl-Anthony Towns is inconsistent. Rudy Gobert sometimes can be bullied in the interior, so I don't trust the Minnesota Timberwolves. So outside of the Denver Nuggets, to me, there's no legitimate threat to the L.A. Clippers. And so right now, the Clippers are by far the best team, not only in the city of L.A., but in the NBA, especially in the Western Conference right now. Especially in the Western Conference. I'm not ready to say they're going to beat the Celtics. Everybody knows I like the Celtics. I think a Celtics-Clippers NBA Finals would be a very, very great series. Seriously, I think it would be a great series. But I think the Clippers are definitely trending in the right direction. And this is the Clippers since December 1st. Since December 1st, and they did lose a few nights ago to the Pelicans. But since December 1st, the Clippers, they are 26-5. That's ranked first in the NBA. They are shooting 51% from the floor. That's ranked first in the NBA. And they're shooting 42% from three-point range. That also is ranked first in the NBA. That's the best record over a 31-game span in franchise history. So, to me right now, the 3 best teams in the NBA are the Boston Celtics, Denver Nuggets, and L.A. Clippers. And the Clippers and the Nuggets in a 7-game series in the Western Conference Finals for the right to go to the NBA Finals, it will be epic. It will be great basketball because I do believe the Nuggets, the reigning NBA defending champions, they still deserve to be viewed as the favorites until further notice. They still deserve to be viewed as the favorites, but the LA Clippers definitely have the ingredients to be a true championship contender. When you got Kawhi Leonard, a top 5 player on your team, and you have the best head coach in the NBA, in Ty Lue, I like your chances as a basketball team, and I think the Clippers have a legitimate chance to represent the Western Conference in the NBA Finals and can compete with the Celtics for sure. But that Nuggets Clippers NBA playoff battle, it'll be epic for sure. It'll be epic. But shout out to the LA Clippers. Shout out to Kawhi Leonard and Ty Lue. They are balling and they playing some great basketball right now. And I can't forget about Norman Powell either. I brought up Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. Can't forget about Norman Powell. Norman Powell, he's playing great. He's a tremendous scorer off the bench, And to me, he's fearless. He's fearless, similar to Jamal Crawford and his role with the Celtics when he was in the NBA playing for the Clippers. Jamal Crawford, he was that sixth man that the Clippers needed. That's the role that Norman Powell is playing right now. That's his role, and he's playing some great basketball as well. So Clippers can definitely win the NBA championship this year. It's possible.